Welcome back to Shark Tank. I'm here with Mr. Wonderful and Mark Cuban somewhere around here. And what do we do on this show?
A lot of stuff. Very nice, very evil stuff.
All right, well, buy a company and then I'll make $1 million, I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Smart Tank Revolution, where we always kick out at 2. I am your solo host today, Joey. There's no need to go into business for myself, but I am by myself, and I'm bringing you your latest Raw rebuttal. So Monday Night Raw was last night on August 11th, or I'm sorry, August 12th. I don't know what days are. August 12th, and gotta say, WWE's been red hot. It's been following off of a stellar SummerSlam and a lot of other programming. We got the OTC, the only tribal chief, back. OTC, yeah, you know me, baby, but it's not about Roman today. It's about the Monday Night Raw brand and the haps on there. Sorry, Sam, I had to take it that one for a sec. But yeah, so we open up with Rhea Bloody Ripley in the ring, and Mommy is pissed. She is livid. But she gives an excellent promo, and one thing I noticed is that Rhea's promos have just gotten to be so much better than what they were. I don't know who she's working with. I don't know if she's touched upon working with Paul Heyman, but Rhea is just really good on the stick. I mean, she's just really intense, believable, and she just knows how to get her point across and looks menacing and dangerous as a fling it. But God, she's also so endearing too. She flicks that smile. She's, I don't know if it's the black lips or what, but she is just incredibly alluring. But that's not about her. It's about her being betrayed by her one-time love, Dom. And, Rhea goes over all the ways that she's going to get even with Liv and Dom and the Judgment Day for screwing her over. Which precipitates to bring out, Liv and Dom interrupting Mommy at the top of the balcony. And we get a promo from Dom here that is just, I don't even know what to say. It's so good you have to see it. Chicken shit heel doesn't describe this man's character right now, but Liv talking about how Dom is, hers, and the bloodline, not the bloodline, the Judgment Day is hers now, and he's taking everything from Rhea. And Dom going into his explanation of, Mommy, why I left you. Liv gives me tendies. He loves his chicken nuggies, folks. Lets him play video games whenever he wants. And this is fun, too, because in a serious way, he goes, it was emasculating a grown-ass man calling you Mommy. And she's like, you called me Mommy on your own. But in Dom's warped, Lex Luthor-like mind that he's the hero, Rhea's the villain, it makes perfect sense. So kudos to WWE. Kudos to everyone involved in this segment. This segment was fire right from the top. Boom, started off the show just in a great way. But we're not over with that, because Rhea goes on and says, yeah, sure, you took some dead weight from me and things that were extra. But thank you, Liv, for being able to love the sound of your own voice so much and drone on and on that I was able to locate you. And they have this great shot of Damian Priest, Undertaker-like, just looming over the pair. And they just kind of Warner Brothers, Looney Tunes-ish, like, stare straight, but know that there's someone behind them, and they're too afraid to turn them around. And they turn around, and sure as shit, Damian just starts putting a powder on Dom. And then Liv is terrified, so she starts running down the ramp, but Rhea starts running down the stairs, but Rhea starts running up the stairs too. So now Liv is trapped between a rock and a hard place. And then you got Dom and Damian fighting it out in the concession stand. And then all of a sudden, Liv makes it up there, but Rhea gets up there and gets her hands on her a little bit too. And just a really great segment. They finally end up getting away. Just good stuff. I know a lot of people sometimes say, that's not the way to open up a Monday Night Raw, with always having something of a promo, but man, it was. And it went right into, they get down to the ring, And Rhea just about gets Dom in the riptide and has him, and you can feel the crowd, percolating and frothing, and man, we're clamoring for it, just as bad as WrestleMania 19 when Triple H finally got Stephanie and in the pedigree. I was the only one who was like, poor Steph, I mind you add, on the earth, probably. I did not want my Steph being pedigreed, but what a moment it made for TV, I must say. Same here, but Dom just wriggles out because Liv pulls her bow out and gets away, and then all of a sudden we go into the match with Carlito and Damian Priest, which is serviceable, and it's fine. My issue is right now, I know putting Carlito in the Judgment Day gives him something to do, but he is absolutely lost in the shuffle. He feels like the least important member of that crew in every iteration, no matter what. And we're talking about a crew that has JD McDonough on it. Think about that, folks. Carlito Colon is less important than JD McDonough. Yeah, I just want you to ponder that. And so I really hope they find something for Carlito to do, because this isn't really working out for him. I'm not digging it. The match was fine. South of Heaven wins it. There was never a doubt. Damian's on fire here. He's on the hot streak, so that's what it is. And, that part's serviceable. It doesn't put a dampener on the hot open, but it just kind of like, okay, let's move on. I don't want to see this week to week. I do not want to see, Carlito being the fall guy. It's just not something that I entertain and enjoy. But then after that, we've got a backstage segment with Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree, because Ivy Nile does a solid for Maxine here and warns her and says, hey, maybe tonight you don't want to be at ringside. Things might go down. And Maxine Dupree is like, but I got to be there with my friends. They're my family. And Ivy Nile's kind of like, look, chick, I'm flat out telling you, don't be there. But, she seldom listens. So Maxine Dupree is at, ringside later on. Then we get something about another Wyatt 6 VHS videotape, which, again, if you've heard me on this before, this has run its course. I'm over this now. We don't need the VHS tapes anymore. We know the motivation. We know that Bo is trying to carry on Bray's legacy. We know that this is going to be something of a personal crusade for him. And I don't need VHS tapes anymore explaining it. I think they hurt the narrative. If they're not going to be on the show, they're not going to be on the show. They're not there. They don't have to be there every week. You don't need their impression felt via a VHS tape. Via a VHS tape. That's tough to say. Just to, get your point across. So I'm not for it. Then we finally get, Kofi and Xavier Woods backstage with Odyssey Jones, OJ, the new member. And this is a very slow burn here. I don't know if they're planning on Woods turning and joining the New Testament or just turning on his own, but they better shit or get off the pot, because this is getting very old very, very fast. Odyssey Jones is a nice new wrinkle to add to it. The dude's a beast, but this is mid for me. This is going nowhere. So I would put it in the mid category. Then we've got, Drew McIntyre talking to Adam Pearce and asking and bitching why Randy Orton gets the title shot. Makes sense. Why is Randy getting the title shot when he's only been screwed once and I've been screwed over and over and over? And, Drew McIntyre says, but don't worry, Pierce, I'm going to do your job for you. I'm going to take care of things. I'll be on my best behavior. So Chad Gable we get a thing of Chad Gable. I missed this last night live, but Chad Gable says he's in Paris and he's not done with the Wyatt Six. So apparently, there you go. The Wyatt Six are going to continue. I personally think it's time for them to move on from American Made, Alpha Academy, what have you. They need new, fresh meat to tenderize, but it is what it is. We get the Alpha Academy versus the Creed Brothers, which is American Made. Very good match. Texas Tornado styles. But Texas Tornado rules. But then we get Ivy Nile turning, I don't know if you'd say heel, but just kind of doing what she said she was going to do earlier. She gives Maxine a really nasty dragon sleeper on the announce table after smashing her face a few times. And it sells the fact that, Ivy Nile is not a bitch to be messed with. She's not to be trifled with. Maxine and them. I expect this feud to probably continue a little. Although with the Wyatt 6 in the wake, could get a little muddy. I have no interest in seeing all three of these guys all three of these factions, teams go at it. Like I said, some things need a reset. This is one of those things. This is in the mid category for me too, except for Ivy Niles' turn. Ivy Niles' turn was brilliant. She did a really, really, really good job. Something else I thought I wouldn't like is we get a in the stands interview, empty arena with Jackie Redmond and Pete Dunne. And man, as much as I've been shitting on this made sense to me. Pete Dunne said, I was the bruiserweight. Does everyone forget that? I was trouncing people in NXT UK. I was whooping ass. Then I get brought up to the main roster, and I become this guy with a shitty nickname, Butch. And then I'm under Sheamus's wing when he's like, I made Sheamus more relevant by keeping him in the limelight than Sheamus did for me. And you know what? Looking at it, none of the Brawling Brutes held titles under Sheamus. So I would say, yeah, in a weird, warped way, Pete Dunne is totally spot on here. And he said, I don't ever want to be called Butch again. And if I have to beat Sheamus bloody for that name to go away, then that's what I'm going to do. So I am now mildly more interested in this feud than I was before because I wasn't at all. So that's an improvement. Something good, I would say. And then all of a sudden, we get Bronson Reed looking back, destroying Seth Rollins out of nowhere. Now, you knew that segment was too good with the 6 tsunamis that wasn't going to stop. So it's all about who is his next victim today. Because WWE loves to use patterns. So it's who is the next one? Who are we going to bring to the slaughter? Who's our little lamb? And Bronson Reed tells, Adam Pearce, give me an opponent tonight or I'm going to find one. I'm going to find one and you're not going to like it. And then we get a promo about Damage Control ready to win back the women's tag titles. Sonya Deville and her company now, their name is terrible. I like Sonya Deville a lot. I hate this fucking name. Pure Fusion Collective. PFC, I guess. It's like PF Chang's. I don't know. Or maybe I'm hungry. But it's just, I don't know. This is just this crap. And then it's like, just please, God, no. I don't like this. And so we get Candice Michelle, a legend. She's in the crowd. Shout out to Candy. And, it's just Isla Dawn. And I am starting to get more high on the tag champs, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Isla Dawn is more impressing me day to day. And after all this, for the number one contendership, they come in and just cause the DQ anyway, so there's no contenders. I guess what you're thinking is this is leading up to a triple threat at Bash at Berlin, perhaps. And that's fine. I would hope the champs retain. Right now, neither Damage Control or PF Chang's is setting the world on fire for me. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix. Get rid of it. After that, we have no number one contenders. So it's just kind of weird. But then we get Miz getting mad at R-Truth backstage. This was a very tag team heavy centric episode. R-Truth says, things are going bad for Miz, but don't worry. He got Miz an Intercontinental Championship match tonight with Braun Breaker to put things back on track. And Miz goes, wait a minute, doesn't Braun have a title match with Sammy 2 out of 3 falls tonight? Isn't that the main event? And he's like, oh, dog, my bad. Is it? And then they show the graphic, and it's Bronson Reed. And Miz is like, are you kidding me? You got me Bronson Reed? Like, what in the world? And then Orton comes in, schmozzes up Miz little, and is like, hey, Miz, you're one of the most decorated WWE superstars. You're a Grand Slam champion twice over. You're, Money in the Bank. You're world champion. You beat John Cena at WrestleMania and retained. You got this. And Miz gets fired up, of course, and is like, yeah, I got this, and heads off. And Truth goes, man, you really think he got this? And Randy Orton just goes, no. Just really good stuff. Truth is a national treasure. I hope they don't do anything to Truth, because please keep him on the show. But then we get Randy Orton throws out his first pitch at a St. Louis Cardinals game. Kind of high for me. They said, oh, it was a strike. Yeah, it was a strike if, you're in the cheap seats. But anyways, Orton comes out for a chat. And he talks about how he made history 24 years ago. He won the world championship 24 years ago and was the youngest world champion to ever do it at that time against he who will not be named in the WWE Pantheon. And he says, history is about to repeat itself because I'm going to do it again. 20 years later, I'm going to do it again against Gunther at Bash at Berlin. And of course, this brings out the Ring General, and he's not having it. He's like, Randy, that's great and all. You're a legend killer, blah, 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 blah. I want to make history too because I'm going to show you this is the last time you'll ever challenge for a world championship. I'm going to beat you so badly that this will you'll never recover from. And of course, we get something that's really unpredictable. All of a sudden, Drew McIntyre comes down, says he was going to set this right. Obviously makes sense. He's mad at Randy for horning in on his title opportunity and saying, hey, dude, you jumped the line. So we get that. But then CM Punk, who was having travel issues, who wasn't supposed to be there, as soon as they said travel issues, you knew CM Punk was showing up. It's just WWE Logic 101, folks. You'll get there if you're not getting there. But Punk comes down, and he's furiously trying to take the bracelet off. I mean, the focus of it is he is just trying to take the bracelet. Drew kind of whomps him, but Punk grabs his belt and starts whipping the shit and flogging the shit out of Drew, and Drew heads for high cover. He gets out of Dodge. He's gone. And Punk is interviewed backstage, and he goes, I don't even want the bracelet back at this point. Keep the damn bracelet. It's just the names you represent. And he's like, he does his best Will Smith impression, and he's like, keep my wife's name and Larry's name, his dog, out of your mouth. And that's what it's about. But he has the belt in his hand, and it's folded over, and he goes, I just think I figured out a way to make everyone happy in this whole thing. And it's perfect because now that's the precursor. As long as my WWE logic is on point here, we're getting a strap match. Now, albeit, will we get it at Bash at Berlin? Is Bash at Berlin already stacked? Or are we going to get it at Bad Blood in September shortly after? I'm not sure. Either one, I'm there for it. Strap matches are very few in between. We've had some damn good ones, notably Rock and Triple H in the Attitude Era. That was a badass at Fully Loaded. You ever see that match, go see that. That was going into SummerSlam. It was just really good stuff. So next is R-Truth with Miz coming off of Bronson Reed. Long story short, Miz loses. Miz is dejected. Truth comes in to save him, pushes him out of the way, and then Bronson Reed tsunamis Truth over and over and over again. I think I counted 5. But here's the wrinkle. Where the frig was Miz? He just left his partner to just be shredded. And they didn't even touch up on that. The announcers didn't even say, where's Miz? You're leaving your buddy out to pasture. You're leaving him out to fry. Nothing. They just, kind of glossed over it. I expect them to talk about it come next Raw, just because it's kind of an odd thing for Miz to do when Truth and him have been so tight. And it sucks because you couldn't have chose the Miz to take out off the board for a little while because Truth is such a highlight of the show every week. Nothing against the Miz, but he kind of needs like a rehaul. If he's going to go heel, I'm all for it. But just take him off the board for a little bit. Truth, we need him every week. He just adds that certain je ne sais quoi to the show that just, it's wonderful. But then, speaking of people firing people up, my dog, Sami Zayn comes up to my dog, Jey Uso comes up to Sami Zayn and hypes him up for the Intercontinental title match and then says, we're going to get that, you're going to beat him, then you're going to beat him again, and then we're going to go get those tag titles. Yeet. And, I was getting worried here. I'm like, shit, are we going to get a Jey turn? Because Jay's too hot right now. He's a good guy. They're really in need of really strong faces on Raw and in general. So I'm like, we don't need Jey turning, so let's hope that doesn't happen. But then we get, the announcement of Rhea and Damian versus Liv and Domin at Bash in Berlin, and it makes perfect sense. I've been calling that since, SummerSlam. That was just the next development for it to happen. It makes perfect sense, and I couldn't be happier, to be honest with you. I think it's something really exciting. When you have mixed tag matches sometimes, and they just don't gel. Case in point, Baron Corbin, Lacey Evans versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. WWE's reasoning back then, let's put them together because these guys are a couple, and let's let them feud against a couple nasties. And that was just stupid because there was no bite behind it. This, my God, this has so much meat on the bone. This is just amazing. I am so excited for this match. Right now, this might be the match at Bash at Berlin for me. I think it is because it's just the one with the most punch to it, you know? And then we got Braun Breaker. He does the interview. And he says, everybody talks about what they're going to do. They're going to retain this. They're going to do that. And I love this style of production that the WWE has implemented with the walk and talk and like the camera angles and just the production is so stellar. Thank fucking God Kevin Dunn is gone. Kevin Dunn is done. Thank God. It was like a graduate film class submission compared to what the work the WWE is doing right now. Whoever the WWE's got on their production team is just phenomenal, just fabulous, and keep them there. They deserve their spot. But on to the Intercontinental title, your main event of the evening, 2 out of 3 falls. We don't get many of these in WWE. And typical, again, logic is usually 1-1, sudden death. And it's a tried and true logic that has worked over time and time and time again. It's very rarely do you get a 2 out of 3 falls where someone wins 2 straight. We've got it before. I forget who, but we got it before, but it just doesn't, it lacks. It's very anticlimactic. It's like, why did we even get that? Pointlessness. But this was a banger. This was great. For free television, this was good. I think they're taking a little bit of tip of the cap from AEW lately because people say what you want, my friend Billy, about AEW. They are putting on clinics for free. Most notably, an American hero, the greatest wrestler in the world, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, your American champion for AEW, is just, they're putting on insane opening matches in just unbelievable free television. So WWE, I think, is putting it up to, a little bit, trying to raise the bar there on their end. Because pay-per-view, no one can touch WWE. WWE is just killing it. They're killing it. And show to show, they're killing it, Bill, just start to finish. But for events, big time events, this felt like a big time fight. This was a big time fight feel. And I loved the story they told, where you knew Sammy is kind of the underdog here because you're not going to undercut Braun Breaker and just can't end his reign back to the guy he just beat. It would be kind of pointless. I mean, I guess there would be a way to do it where Braun can just get so bullshit and just annihilates Sammy and puts him out after he wins it back again. But we don't need to go there. I think Sammy and Jave's got some, little bit of meat on the bone with the Judgment Day. I would like to see them champs again because I really, truly want the belts off of JD McDonough and Finn. I just do. I want Finn on to bigger and better things. But, this match was great. Unexpected. Sammy gets the first fall with a shock haluva kick to Braun coming off the spear. And it makes sense because with the velocity that big dog throws himself with off the ropes, catching him in the jaw like that, flush, bang, boom, 1, 2, 3. Makes sense for a quick fall. And then the story was after that is Sammy's in the driver's seat now. Can he pull out the miracle comeback? Can he Rocky for this shit? And no. Braun just got bullshit through every single segment, sequence, and just kept getting more and more. We saw him break out the Frankensteiner. We saw him break out a military press slam into a power slam. We saw him break out multiple spears. We saw him break out a suplex, a belly-to-belly. I mean, just great bell-to-bell action. Braun is the guy. He is definitely the Thing. He's the next big thing, I would say. He's in the Brock Lesnar spot that Brock was in 2002. And we'll see where it goes. But, yeah, Braun beats Sammy with a couple of spears. And then now we go to sudden death. And the sudden death is just Sammy trying to survive. We get this one part, though. Oh, my God. I wanted to make sure Sammy was alive. Go back and watch it. Where Braun picks him up in like a lawn dart position outside the ring and runs him towards the timekeeper table and just chucks him over the barricade. Normally you chuck a wrestler over the barricade, there's nothing there, they're going to hit the padding on the floor. Sammy bounced right the fuck off the timekeeper's chair. Like immediately off the chair and then onto the floor. It looked painful. Kudos for Sammy for taking that. I mean, what a mensch. But, yeah, just unreal. He just really, really did it. And I'm sorry, I shouldn't have used the word mensch because Sammy is not Jewish. But, yeah, what a guy. He just took it quite just flush. And like I said, I just kind of stumbled myself there. And it happens. I'm not editing this. This is all raw and uncut. Raw, uncut, rebuttal. And so... yeah, and then finally the end comes after Sammy can't survive anymore with Sammy jumping off the top rope into a spear upcoming where Braun just chops him in half. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Retain. And then you go off the air like that with Braun standing triumphant. And that is just a sight because... like I said, this guy's got big things ahead of him. He's doing good stuff. He's gonna just keep on improving if they give him the storyline and the push and the gimmick and the dance partners to do it. He's just gonna get better and better. I have heard rumblings that people keep saying that John Cena's last match should be against Braun Breaker. I am I'm of different mindset of that big time. John Cena's last match, whether it be for the world title or the WWE Championship, it should be at WrestleMania where Mr. Cena, where Big Match John, the GOAT, he pulls out number 17. There's nobody more deserving on the earth of that accolade. Ric Flair's held it for a long, long time, and I think it is time to pass it. John Cena deserves it. You're already tied. Just pass it. Do it before Charlotte does. It will have more poignance and significance if John Cena does it. And I think my dream match, honestly, would be John Cena versus Cody, good guy versus good guy. I want that so much. But we'll see what I get. As for what we got, Raw was great. The Raw rebuttal, I'm going to give it an 8.5. It was very close, teetering to a 9. It was just on all cylinders. Good to be back to voice my opinions, my thoughts, and all the knowings in betweens. I really enjoyed it. We're heading into Bash and Berlin very strong. We came off of a decent SmackDown. Outside of LA Knight and Roman Reigns, there really wasn't much to rave about. But Raw, it's all killer, no filler, really. Even the mid stuff is better than what I saw on SmackDown this past week. So yeah, 8.5. Let me know what your thoughts are below. Love to know Donnie's thoughts. We will be probably syncing up for our Bash at Berlin, or at very least, all in for AEW. It's going to be a good time. Hope you all enjoyed it. Catch you on the next one.